everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We will get started in just a couple minutes here. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate you logging in early. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Q3 2023 State of NAIFA. It is my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker of this, the NAIFA president, Bryon Holz.
Thanks, Zach. Greetings and thanks for joining us for the third quarter 2023 State of NAIFA. Wow, this year's going by fast. NAIFA does so many awesome things in our mission to advocate, educate, and differentiate that it's sometimes hard to keep track of them all. For example, on our consumer side, our financialsecurity.org brand, NAIFA is the association that introduces and encourages more students to consider financial services as a career. We call this program Future Leaders, and we are NAIFA proud to be in our third year of providing this extraordinary virtual program. This year, for the first time, we've added a summer session, and we're NAIFA proud to include students from all of these colleges and universities. It is a totally free 4-week program where NAIFA members lead students through a weekly 45-minute session covering topics such as understanding and finding your fit in the financial services industry, and getting to know the types of career opportunities that exist in our profession, straight from real financial service professionals. Students can participate in real time or watch on demand and receive a certificate of completion and recommendation that they can add to their resume. It's a real feel-good program, a win-win-win for participating schools, students, and our industry, and all thanks to NAIFA leading the way. But that's just some of the good work that we do direct to consumers. We also have a campaign underway to let Main Street consumers know that they deserve a financial advisor, and that only NAIFA advisors ascribe to a code of ethics. And as a reminder, you can see all of our advisors proudly displayed at www.financialsecurity.org. That's www.financialsecurity.org. Additionally, for those of our members who have earned their NAIFA Quality Award, kind of like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval for members that deliver extraordinary client care, you can see their digital badge on their Find an Advisor listing, along with the Financial Security Advocate badge for those members who have earned this recognition and are actively politically advocating for the clients they serve. We are working hard to educate the Main Street American consumer that NAIFA members represent them every day in protecting their wealth and working hard to combat harmful taxes and regulation. For our NAIFA members, if you haven't received this training, please do so. It is a great benefit that is totally free to you, that you can access within our member portal. If you have any questions, just ask your grassroots chair. I am thrilled to announce the launch of the beta test of the new LUTC Course 1, Advising Process, Risk Management, and Life Insurance. The LUTCF designation is held by over 30,000 advisors worldwide, and the newly revised designation has been revamped to be even more effective and empower more agents and advisors to outfit more Americans with the right risk protection products that fit their needs. This week, 38 potential beta testers have been invited to begin the process towards earning their LUTCF designation. We anticipate that Course 1 will be open for paid enrollments in the fall of 2023. And of course, the highlight of the last quarter was our congressional conference held in May. As Diane will go into more depth, we welcomed over 500 NAIFA members to the Hill and provided extraordinary advocacy program, such as hearing from Representative Kevin Hern of Oklahoma and Representative Brad Schneider of Illinois. To better understand the work we're doing on the Hill, just go to our YouTube channel and enjoy the dozens of videos our members have made about their trips to meet with their elected officials and why NAIFA is the one and only advocating in all 50 states and on Capitol Hill. No one does this. No one advocates like NAIFA. Now, please join me in welcoming Kevin Mayeux, NAIFA CEO, to get an update on NAIFA's accomplishments last quarter and what's to come in the quarter ahead. Take it away, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you for all of you for joining us here on our State of NAIFA quarterly update. As a reminder, we do these quarterly webinars as a way of keeping communications open and being transparent with you, our NAIFA members and our stakeholders, about the great work that we are doing on your behalf and that, of course, you are doing on behalf of your clients, the American consumer. Well, this is a systematic way that we report back about what's going on and the work that we're doing, delivering on NAIFA 2025 strategic plan and our current business implementation plan, which for this year is year 3 of that strategic plan, and reporting back to you. So again, we're being clear and transparent with you. Each quarter, we put together a quarterly dashboard so that all of our leaders and our stakeholders are informed on the progress that we're making on our 3 key strategic goals, which is to grow our membership, amplify our brand, and continue to provide a quality member experience for every member of NAIFA across this country. One of the highlights we had from quarter 2 was the fact that we added 18 new 100% agencies to the NAIFA family. That means that every single advisor in those 18 agencies, every one is now a member of our professional association. So I want to thank these new partners for coming on board, and I want to thank the advisors in each of these groups for, again, being part of this professional association and helping us move the needle on so many things that benefit everyday Americans all across this great country. In addition, we have a large Northwestern Mutual group that serves the greater part of Maryland, and they have come into the fold along with these other financial security champions to also support NAIFA and have the vast majority of their agents and advisors join and become active contributing members of NAIFA as their professional association. It's also our ability to partner with other groups that helps NAIFA succeed and excel. And it's through our membership programs and it's through our coalition partnerships that we're able to do more together. By pooling our resources, we can accomplish more things as one collective team. This past quarter, we're able to join together with many of our partners to do great work on behalf of the American people. First and foremost, our partnership with the American Council of Life Insurers, also known as ACLI, is stronger than ever. And that was evident at our congressional conference when their president and CEO, Susan Neely, joined us. Susan's been a staple at NAIFA programs because she appreciates the critical role that NAIFA and that our members play in helping to move the needle on public policy, not just in Washington, D.C., but in all 50 state capitals around this country. The work that we do has real impact on helping everyday Americans be financially secure in their life. And ACLI recognizes and applauds that effort. In fact, they did so much, they even put out a full-page ad when we had our congressional conference to, again, let NAIFA members know how much they appreciate the work that NAIFA members do on Capitol Hill and, again, in our state houses all across this country. So again, I mentioned we work in coalitions to get things done. This past month in June, it was actually Annuity Awareness Month. And we partnered with the National Association of Fixed Annuities and other industry partners to help raise awareness of annuities and how they're a good tool for many Americans as they put together a solid financial plan. I want to thank NAIFA's strong chapter structure and the leaders that are mentioned on here for the work that they did, helping to get a proclamation in their state declaring June Annuity Awareness Month. And I also want to thank our friends and supporters at the National Association of Fixed Annuities for their support of NAIFA and for acknowledging the strong leadership role that we play in everything related to financial security, but in particular as we advanced and promoted fixed annuities and Annuity Awareness Month in June. We continue to work closely with other partners to move the needle and get things done as well. And with our partnership with the Society of Financial Service Professionals, we've announced that we're going to be having a multiple-hour educational program that'll take place in September. Information will be out and registration will be out for that soon, but it'll be an all-star lineup of speakers in the advanced markets area. You're not going to want to miss that program coming out with our partnership with FSP, again, during the month of September. In addition, the month of September is important because it's also Life Insurance Awareness Month. And NAIFA has been a proud sponsor and supporter of Life Happens since day one when Life Happens was created. We continue to provide financial support for this great organization and provide leadership, and again, helping them promote life insurance, because so many Americans, as you all know, are underinsured or don't have any life insurance. And the more we can do to raise that awareness, the more we can help make sure that every American family is protected, especially in times of tragedy. Life Insurance Awareness Month, again, September, we appreciate our partnership with Life Happens. Also, you probably noticed there's a Find an Advisor function on the Life Happens website, which features NAIFA members, again, as trusted advisors that consumers can reach out to in their community to help them put together a solid financial plan. And lastly, our work with many other organizations takes place in Capitol Hill all the time. And I'm proud to announce that the United States Chamber of Commerce recognizes the critical role that NAIFA plays as a key leader in our industry and how important our industry is to the entire American economy. And they invited us to join the Council of 100, the 100 organizations that they think help move the needle most in public policy in Washington, D.C. I was honored to have attended the C100 meeting in Colorado Springs just 2 weeks ago, representing NAIFA and sharing the perspective as to what we do, our advisors, our members, and us as an association, to again impact solid public policy and figure out opportunities for us to partner with other organizations that may or may not even be in our field, but to again help good public policy take place and allow you as NAIFA members to again serve your clients better, to make sure that they can be financially secure for life. And then finally, I'd like to again announce some great news. You may notice the backdrop behind me, which is the view from our new office at 1000 Wilson Boulevard, Suite 1890, the year NAIFA was founded, Suite 1890, in the Roslyn area of Arlington, Virginia. Our new headquarters is absolutely phenomenal, and we officially took occupancy of it this week. The new facility allows our staff to have a modern place to work. We have unparalleled views of the district. We are close to the United States Capitol to again do work advocating on behalf of the profession and the 85 million American families that you all serve. We have meeting space here for training, conferences, and events, and we're doing it in a very operationally efficient manner, saving money over the rent that we used to pay for our old building in Falls Church, while having all these modern amenities and opportunity again for training and for influencing public policy. So I invite you all, if you're ever in the DC area, come check out your headquarters. And again, in 1000 Wilson Boulevard, Suite 1890, we'd love to see you. And we'd also love to welcome you, for those of you that are coming to our National Leadership Conference in December, to come by, because we're going to have an informal ribbon cutting here on December 5th, and every NAIFA member is welcome to attend. I'd now like to turn it over to our incredibly talented Senior Vice President of Government Relations, Diane Boyle, who's going to give us an update on her advocacy efforts. Diane?
Thanks, Kevin. The new office is fantastic. I'm actually sitting in it as well, although the camera is faced away from the view, so I get to enjoy it, you don't. Sorry about that. We'll have to work on making sure you have the nice view too. Kevin and Bryon both mentioned congressional conference. This is what we do best. When we can put our NAIFA members on the Hill, it humanizes, it humanizes the issues that we're talking about. And it makes that real connection with the lawmaker. Real connection with the lawmaker. On the same day that we were on the Capitol, we saw that the leaders of the committees that have jurisdiction over our issues, so Ways and Means and the Senate Finance Committee, the leaders in both parties for those two key committees wrote to Secretary Yellen and the IRS Commissioner to tell them that the NAIFA-backed Secure 2.0 technical corrections that we were seeking, when all of those people were on the Hill, were actually going to come soon. So the timing of that was perfect. We had the congressional leadership writing into the regulatory agencies at a time that we were actually making the ask. And if that doesn't show the power of NAIFA and your involvement, I don't know what does. What we try to do, as I said, the congressional conference is so incredibly important because it does humanize the issues. When we go to Capitol Hill to talk, they want to hear from real live constituents. And we've launched, as you know, a program in March for a revised and updated, or refreshed, if you will, Financial Security Advocate Academy. And we partnered with the Congressional Management Foundation to put together the content, which is phenomenal. Since launching that program in March, we've had nearly 500 NAIFA members go through the self-study program. Either they do it self-study. We've also had opportunities where NAIFA Live 1 month was going through the course and allowed people to take that training in a NAIFA Live setting. Or we've had states like North Carolina that also had a state-specific webinar or program to go through the academy as a group. So those individuals too went through and were able to get the same type of training, but with their fellow state colleagues, if you will. So nearly 500 people. Let's take a look, though, at what has happened now in the House. Whenever you have divided government, it presents challenges. And, always you'll see the members of the House of Representatives think, well, if I've passed something, then it's done. I've done my part. And very often, same in the Senate will look at it and say, we've passed legislation. How come the House hasn't picked it up? Or how come the president hasn't signed it into law? You have to have all three in order to have legislation go through the process and to actually be enacted. Sometimes our leaders forget that. So you'll see the House pass a good number of bills on its own, but they're all going to die in the Senate. You'll see the Senate pass legislation, but it's not going to make its way through the House. So when you start getting that in a divided government environment that we're operating in now, when you start having legislation that moves through either of the chambers in a bipartisan way, you're actually seeing real success, because that means it has a chance of passing both the House and the Senate and getting the president to sign it into law. And I'm happy to say that this quarter alone, NAIFA has seen 2 of our initiatives to go through the House in a bipartisan manner. One was on the ACA improvements on the administrative requirements that they have. The other was on senior financial security and to protect them from financial fraud. So we saw both of those pieces of legislation make its way through the process, which means that it now goes over to the Senate, which will be helpful. And as I said, because it's in a bipartisan manner, support for both of those, there's actually an opportunity for it to actually be enacted into law. So we were very happy about that, because as I said, divided government does indeed present a whole host of challenges. Our industry leading pack, speaking of divided government, we're looking at, and you can see some of the partisanship rear its head, if you will, as the elections draw near. 2024 is going to be an election year, and our industry leading pack supports candidates who understand our industry. We've already started that process so that we're well positioned, not only in the 118th Congress, but when the 119th Congress takes their seats, we'll be well prepared there as well. Let's take a look at what's going on in some of the states. So we've seen with financial literacy has been a focus of NAIFA. In this quarter, we've seen Alabama, Indiana, Montana, Minnesota, Connecticut, and Louisiana all adopt high school financial literacy requirements, bringing our total up to 24 states that now require or guarantee, if you will, high schoolers personal financial literacy courses before they graduate, which is really significant when you look at some of the challenges that people have. Getting an early start, starting in high school, to have an understanding how money works really positions them for success later in life, and can start beginning to save, and not only for their immediate needs, but saving for their futures. If we look, not only was financial literacy one of our core components, in the states, we also looked at the regulation best interest on the SEC, and we saw best interest for annuities adopted by the NAIC. NAIFA, not only are we very active in Congress, and in the state legislatures, but we also work with those interstate agencies, NAIC, NCOIL, so that we're developing models. And the model, the NAIC best interest model, aligns with the SEC best interest model, so that we really have comprehensive consumer protection that works across the board. And we saw in Washington, Florida, Oregon, in Kansas this quarter that had all adopted the NAIC best interest. That brings up our total to 39 states, which is significant. We also saw that the National Conference of Insurance Legislators, NCOIL, we've worked with them because as they looked and said, you know, the SEC has Reg BI and they're implementing stuff, and the states are starting to adopt the NAIC best interest model. As state legislators, we don't believe that the Department of Labor, who is still exploring additional rulemaking on the standard of care, needs to take any additional action. So NCOIL has introduced a resolution that will be voted on later this month as to whether the organization will write to the Department of Labor and say, take a look at what the states have done. Take a look at what the SEC has done. And we don't believe that additional rulemaking is necessary. And so NAIFA was really proud to partner with NCOIL in getting that resolution drafted. And we're going to be particularly proud when the NCOIL actually adopts that resolution and sends it over to the Department of Labor. Then, as I said, we work with Congress, we work with these interstate agencies. We also work directly with the state legislatures. So if you look at the state legislatures, we've had state chapters that have held state legislative days. And we're halfway through the year and we've had 41 states that have held state legislative days. This is meaningful for a whole host of reasons. One, we want to make sure that we're developing those relationships between our members and their state lawmakers. As most of you know, insurance is primarily regulated at the state level, not at the federal level. So making sure that we have those relationships, that we're visiting with lawmakers on an annual basis, or in those states that don't meet annually, that at least we're meeting with them when they're in session, to develop those relationships, to make sure that we're able to advocate on behalf of NAIFA members and the clients that you serve. Making sure that we have that touch across the board is really important. And that's something that we were able to do, again, as I said, halfway through the year, and we have 41 states already covered and having addressed their issues. And we go back and we look at some of the work that was done at the interstate level to make sure that those states that are meeting or adopting those models that we've favorably influenced, to make sure that they're adopted in the states. So we're seeing success there. Developing those relationships is key, and it goes into what Congress is considering as well, because you're seeing so much interplay between, if you look at the, when you go back to when we were talking about the best interest standard, making sure that we have the federal agencies, the state legislators, everyone talking so that there's a consistent standard, that you're not having this patchwork or layering of regulation, and that there is some consistency across the board, and we're able to achieve that. And then many of the state legislators that you're developing the relationships with, not only are you positively influencing the legislation that's at the state legislature now, but those state legislators tend to be the individuals that run for Congress. So developing those relationships early on is really beneficial for NAIFA, because we have those relationships when those members go through and cycle their career and escalate from the state legislature to Congress. We have those relationships already developed with the legislators, and it works really well for us. So we're on a smooth path. We're seeing success in the states. And Mr. President, I'm going to wrap it up and turn it back over to you. I'd just like to say thank you, and you can participate in our August in-district meetings. Forgot to say that before I send it to you. we want to make sure that we are meeting with Congress when they're back in the district so that we can continue those relationships. And that's going to be a big focus of next month. All right, so now, Mr. President, really back to you.
Thanks, Diane. Our advocacy is in great hands with you and your highly talented advocacy team. Finally, be sure to mark your calendars for our National Leadership Conference, which will return to Washington, D.C. on December 3rd through 5th. We hope you can join us as we celebrate the very best of NAIFA and our profession, experience valuable leadership training, and once again, meet with members of Congress and their staff. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for even more great things ahead as we advocate, educate, and differentiate on behalf of our NAIFA members, clients, and communities, the one and only. I'm NAIFA proud to serve as your president and look forward to seeing you again soon.